Welcome to the Haunted Mansion. We are your hosts, your ghost hosts.
Ooh, spooky.
My name
No,
is
but for real.
Kirsten. Oh,
The
How
drama.
dare you?
I thought we went in our order.
I was going to say no, but for real, we're Geeks and Geeks.
Yeah.
We are.
That's true.
And my name's Kirsten.
I'm Siberia.
I am Pumpkin.
And I'm Lauren.
And
We
welcome
did
to Geeks and Geeks. All right.
All right,
how
what did
is
we watch this
everybody?
week? What did we watch?
What
We
did us
watched-
watch?
Wow, that is really bad. I hate that. What did us watch?
I'm
What
just
did
gonna
us
go.
watch? Yeah,
Is this a grammar
you need to
podcast?
leave. You need to leave.
You need to leave.
Get out of here.
It's grammar podcast right now.
Yes, it actually is.
It is, yeah.
We've rebranded.
Yeah, grammar
Oh.
podcast.
There was a
Talk
meeting
about-
I wasn't at.
We
Yeah.
just talked about grammar.
Yeah, we decided that when you weren't here, actually.
Okay, great.
Okay, so this week we watched my pick for this month's theme, which was psychological horror, and I chose Jordan Peele's Us.
Yeah, you did.
So good.
I love this movie so much, and like I said last episode, I'm really curious. I saw that it only has a 60% from the audience on Rotten Tomatoes. And I'm like really curious to discuss why we think that might be. I don't know if anybody did any digging.
I'm
Ooh,
curious.
Lauren, for those of you who aren't
Please.
watching us on YouTube, Lauren's making a little sneaky face.
Lauren's got a little sneaky little side eye, little smirk.
Lauren knows something.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear Lauren's side of it. Because
I'm a little bit nervous. I'm the Kirsten of the episode. I mean,
Well, you said that you liked it. It's just not your favorite Jordan Peele movie.
Yes. Okay,
Okay.
so should I just kick it off since
Yeah, you can
Final
sound, girl.
So this was a rewatch for me. This is only the second time that I've seen it because I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, I like it, but I wasn't like, oh, I need to watch it again. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So this was the second rewatch, and I was really hoping to like it more, but it just is. It's just kind of okay for me. I don't know. I know. I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Really?
Right with
Wow.
the audience on
I
Rotten
know.
Okay.
I know. I just feel like I didn't write it down, but I just feel like I do like Peele movies. I like his whole vibe that he curates. Like obviously the humor always hits, but I just feel like something about this story, like whatever the story that is trying to be told, it just doesn't really resonate with me. Like,
Okay.
there's a lot of it that I don't really get it. I don't really know like what he's trying to say with this one.
Okay.
I feel like the pacing is a little bit off. And so just like as much as it like fits in with his like with Peele's aesthetic, like it just kind of falls flat for me, which is a bummer because I was like this going into it again. I was like, I'm really hoping to like it more on a second rewatch. And I think there's definitely room for like, this feels like the kind of movie that, you know, if we have we're going to have a discussion, and it feels like the kind of movie that if I maybe know more and like get some other perspectives, there's definitely like some opportunities to like understand it more and like it. So I'm excited for our discussion, but yeah, for me, it was just like, it's just kind of an okay one.
Okay.
Alright.
I can actually totally understand that because I was even talking with Siberia the other day, and I said that I felt like this is one that if people were like, this is not my cup of tea, I just didn't get it, I'd be like, you know, I understand that. I can see that actually.
It's just, it's got a certain sort of something about it that's kind of just like,
Yeah, I
don't
can
really
see that.
know.
I could see that because I remember when I first watched it. I mean, I guess if you can't tell, I'm just really into like visuals. So like I was just like, a lot of these are so visually like pretty, like some of the scenes and
It
like
is
the
stunning.
way, and the way he directs and stuff, and like, and even I was just kind of like, I think I get that this is telling me, but
Right. It's like, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But it is beautiful.
Yeah.
Like he's just got such a vision, and all of his movies have the same sort of look.
yeah.
And I really like it. I love how he directs. I love like his whole vibe in every movie. But yeah, it's something about the story on this one that I'm just like, I don't know if I get it. I wish I did.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's
Siberia,
a
what were
6.
your thoughts?
All right.
Oh,
Siberia.
Kirsten, did you give a number?
Oh
No,
yeah,
I
I didn't. Well, I love this movie.
Uh-huh.
It's I'm not gonna say it's my favorite anymore because Nope is now my favorite Jordan Peele movie. But I do love this movie. Like this, I think it's just the soundtrack gets me too. That dun dun
So
dun
good.
dun.
So
Like,
good.
it's
That like
so good.
staccato sort of
Yeah,
like music that he puts in.
And it's so hard for me to like leave a movie, like leave a horror movie and like be scared. But I remember I was like washing my hands in the mirror and I was like, I was like, is a tether coming after me? Yeah. But yeah, I give it an 8 out of 10 just because when I did watch it, it was the same as Lauren. It was like, I think I get what it was trying to say, but maybe I'm not processing it. My brain was like the rich and the poor. That's kind of where my brain kind of went with it. I don't know if that's what he was trying to say, but that's kind of like what I was getting from it.
I can see that.
Yeah. Just because there's a lot of like rich elements too, like with the couples like being like the hierarchies and stuff. There's a lot of hierarchies in this, so that's kind of where my brain was going. Yeah.
Okay, Siberia.
All right. Well, this was also like Lauren, my second time watching this movie. I hadn't seen it since I saw it in theaters in 2019, and I had a weird time in the theater in 2019. And so, like, I remember liking the movie, but I was also just like kind of annoyed the whole time with the people I was with being loud. But I still love this movie. I really do. The soundtrack mixed with the acting performances, just like it's so good.
God, every single
so good.
actor,
Yeah.
all so good.
Lupita, like as those two versions of herself, is like
all the cookies for this movie.
Yeah.
She is so good.
This
she is so
movie,
fucking good.
This movie is what solidified like her as my favorite actress. I was like, oh, I love Lupita.
I haven't seen Nope yet, but this is my favorite Jordan Peele movie. I love it. It's so visually stunning. I think I can also see where you're coming from with the like, do I get exactly what it's trying to tell me? But I think that's because there's so many different ways it could go. Like it leaves it open quite a bit, I think, to be like your own interpretation, which can be a good thing or a bad thing depending on what you want from a psychological horror movie. But totally. I personally had a great time and loved every second of it. Oh my god. I give it an 8.
Nice. Okay, I wrote Us is just so beautifully shot, well acted out, and has a great soundtrack. The gruesome deaths are such great typical horror fun, but the plot and message are totally unique. I gave it a 9.5 out of 10. I really liked this movie. I think it kind of I was glad that this was one that I got the message for, because sometimes I'm looking a little too deep. And then I go look up what the director was trying to say. And I'm like, oh, I came away with a much deeper meaning. That's not what they were trying to say.
I went too far.
Interesting.
But this was one where I walked away like, this is about what I think it's about, right? And then I looked it up and I was like, okay, I'm correct. But I think that's also so I grew up without like a lot of money, and I grew up evangelical. I used to be a missionary, and so the irony of this Hands Across America thing that's not actually helping anyone.
So performative.
It's so like I felt like so much of this movie just spoke to me about like what the things that are kind of like not so great about our country. And so I really like this one because I feel like it's also kind of an uncomfortable message that a lot of people are kind of like, oh, can we not talk about that? So I really liked this movie, but I could see why like that message might not come across very like clearly. There's like other messages in here. There's actually a lot hidden in this movie, but that was like the main one. But yeah, I really liked it.
I'm excited to talk about it. Like, and I don't want it to come off like I don't like it or anything. Cause like the music, amazing. The directing, amazing. All of the acting, so good. There's just like, it's just that little bit that I'm just like,
well, and
and I understand that bit.
Yeah, I do too.
So, like American Psycho is an amazing movie. It's so good, but it never really the message didn't really resonate with me because that really just has nothing to do with my life or anything I go through. I'm like, I cannot relate at all to some like psycho businessman who's trying to one up his peers. Like that doesn't relate to me at all.
Uh-huh.
So
You give psycho businessman.
Thank you.
Thanks.
But yeah, I feel like there's a lot of movies that even if they're like good and you like them, it's just kind of like that didn't really like sink into my core or anything.
Land.
Yeah.
But I'm not like angry that I watched it. Like it was still a good movie.
Yeah,
I just don't like the message
so
wasn't
good.
as exactly for me, I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, so before we get into the plot, let's go over some trivia. When I was looking up the trivia, there are so many hidden references. We would be here for hours if I listened to all. References to the Lost Boys, the Goonies, the Shining. There's little references sprinkled all throughout. Like we'd be here forever. Like Jordan Peele really fucking popped his pussy for this. But I'll just
severely.
I'll just read a few that I thought were like really interesting that I didn't catch either. So the first one was the use of the song "I Got Five on It" appears to resonate with the main theme of the film. It tells of two guys each chipping in $5 to buy a $10 bag of weed, which, like the scissors and the repetition of the number 11 within the film, is a combination of two things creating a one whole, just like the tethered themselves. Because they play that song a lot, but I didn't get what that song has to do with the movie. So I was like, oh, I get it. Okay. The next one was the presence of white rabbits, the Hall of Mirrors, and the red jumpsuits worn by the tethered are all references to Alice in Wonderland. The Hall of Mirrors in particular represents Through the Looking Glass, while the red suits represent the Red Queen, who's the villain of that story.
And the rabbit going into the rabbit hole.
The rabbit hole makes sense. But I feel like maybe the jumpsuits is kind of a stretch to me.
And the last one that I thought was fun, the son's name Jason is a reference to Friday the 13th's villain Jason, who also wears a mask.
That makes so much sense. Cool.
That feels obvious now.
I don't know what the Lost Boys one is.
When she's apparently, I haven't seen the Lost Boys, but apparently it's also filmed on the same boardwalk. And so when the mom is like, they're filming a movie over there, she's talking about the Lost Boys.
That's Kirsten. That's you did like the Lost Boys X, like Stranger Things. Is that what that is?
Yeah, that's Lost Boys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I need to see that. That's an old one, right?
Yeah, that's gonna be my pick if we ever get vampires. I was like Lost Boys.
Ooh, well, good because I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen that either.
It's got like those old school like people in it, like Corey Haim and Corey Feldman and
fun.
Keith Sutherland and all that stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
The twin daughters talking at the same time is the reference to The Shining.
As soon as you said that, I was like, Shining?
Yeah.
I thought it was maybe going to be them all holding hands in the driveway also, like at the end of the hallway.
Yeah.
It's such a creepy shot.
I know. The part where, we'll get into it, but the part where he's like, it's probably just the neighbors. It's like, dude, what neighbors?
Real.
No.
Get a grip, my guy.
If they're just your neighbors are really fucking scary and you should still be concerned.
You need to leave.
Okay, so I didn't name each section because I'm not creative like y'all. I'm so sorry. The movie opens with the text, "There are thousands of miles of tunnels beneath the continental United States, abandoned subway systems, unused service routes, and deserted mine shafts, many of no known purpose at all." We're in 1986, and Addie is watching a commercial for Hands Across America. At night, at the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk, she wanders away from her parents. She sees a man holding a sign that reads Jeremiah 11:11 before walking down to the beach. A thunderstorm is approaching, so Addie goes into a funhouse called Vision Quest, Find Yourself, where she encounters a doppelganger of herself in the House of Mirrors. Discuss.
So something else that I noticed with the Jeremiah 11:11 thing is when she turns to the couple playing rock, paper, scissors, they're only throwing scissors. They play like 3 games and they only throw scissors the whole time.
That's a fun fact. I like that.
I didn't even notice that.
Oh my gosh.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love Jordan Peele.
They keep being
He's
like,
so clever.
We can't win.
Yeah.
They keep both throwing scissors.
I have to say, the first time I saw this movie in theaters, that opening text sent like a chill through me because y'all know I
It's
hate
so
like
creepy.
underground tunnel.
Yeah.
Like they just said tunnels, and I was like, no,
Well,
ew, stop.
I literally was
Because then
like,
you
is that
spend the
real?
whole movie. You spend the whole movie wondering when that's gonna come back.
Right,
into place.
yeah.
You're like, when are we getting back to the
When
tunnel
is
thing?
the tunnels underground gonna be a thing again?
I
Yeah.
literally was like, is that real? Is it really? I don't need to be.
I made a note just like about the carnival setting. I feel like Peele has a really cool way of taking something like mundane or just sort of like a normal situation and sort of finding those like uneasy tones about it.
Mhm.
And he does it, it's so subtle, but it's like he does that in every movie. It's like something that will just be like just something average, and maybe a carnival is like a little bit more than average, but it's just got that sense of like, what's wrong here? Something's a little bit off.
Yeah, I said that like it's really crazy how just taking the camera down to a child's point of view makes the fair like still really fun and bright and colorful, but also kind of like scary and overwhelming. Like just bringing that camera angle down, you're like, oh,
Yeah, it's too much.
You have to look up to everything.
yeah. I feel like that kind of shows how
Story of my
scary
life.
it shows how
I
like
can't relate to that content, so I really.
You can't.
oh, shut up, tall person.
Poor girls.
Yeah.
I'm a dainty 4'3". What do you mean?
Small and whittle.
I also made a note of going into that funhouse alone. I think not.
Also,
Simple
the
not be
funhouse
me.
was pretty racist.
Yeah. Yep. I noticed that.
Oh
as well.
yeah.
The like caricature of like the Asian man on the top.
Yeah.
I think they're Native American. It's like
Native
a Vision
American. I'm
Quest.
calling it Vision Quest. Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting.
But that's also so Peele to just like throw in something that's like, yep.
But it changes later in the movie to be more PC.
Oh, was it? I didn't notice.
Yeah, when they're back at the beach later, it changes to be like a wizard, and it's like something else. Michael's on it.
Progress.
Okay.
Yeah, Michael's there.
Michael's just on top of it. Like,
did the owl jump scare get anyone else, or am I dumb?
Yes.
It literally got me.
it got me the first time I watched it because I watched it in theaters. And
I'm just a little baby.
I was crafting when I was watching. So
you.
You were what?
I was crafting.
You didn't. You weren't giving it like your full attention. I'm just kidding. We all have Dragon Con.
We all have
a few weeks.
We all have Dragon Con.
We are all very, very busy right now.
Oh, for our listeners, let me just read what Jeremiah 11:11 says, just for like context.
We're bringing Jesus into this podcast, y'all.
No.
Bible study time.
Oh my God, we should have Bible study hour every week.
I will actually kill you. Okay, so it says, therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, I will bring evil upon them, which they shall not be able to escape. And though they shall cry unto me, I will not hearken unto them.
Hearken to me.
Very spooky. A lot of verses from the Bible are really
Why are they all talking so confusing in the Bible? Just say what you gotta say.
Just say what you mean to say.
Shut up.
So we're just to the end of like her seeing her doppelganger.
Yeah.
I love that there's no volume when she screams, like that, just like, like you see her scream and it's just like totally silent, and then it cuts to like her doppelganger just Blair witching over there is so creepy. Yeah,
especially
so
like
sorry, I didn't mean to slut right now.
Where are you? Just so everybody knows, Siberia's flashing us. Listen to me.
I have something to say.
I almost forgot the thing I had to. Did I forget the thing I had to say? Oh, I was thinking maybe the silent scream is a foreshadowing to like her crushing her windpipe, and that's why she can't like talk.
I was curious. I don't know if I'm looking too much into it. Her carrying this like delicious bright red candy apple just to drop it in the sand without taking a bite out of it. Did anyone feel like that was also kind of like a metaphor for like accidentally leaving behind what you had or something? Or am I looking too much into it?
You know, you might be just reading into it more than we are. Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't
maybe.
know.
You could be totally right.
Yeah, I just
Oh.
didn't really think about it, but
I don't know.
someone's got
I
to.
liked the shot. Like I already thought it was weird. She like didn't take a bite out of it. I was like, girl, why are you just holding that in your hand? And then
To
the
be
shot of
fair-
it falling in the sand. I felt like that's such and then walking into the thing. I was like, ah, fuck. It's just
Yeah.
like ruin your life.
Candied apples are trash though, and
Yeah,
honestly, I feel
they
like
really
that's
are.
a pretty
Caramel
decent
apples are
excuse to just
better.
like, oh no, I dropped my really terrible treat.
I don't like caramel or caramel
No.
apples.
If I want
It's just
something
like,
sweet, I'm just gonna
caramel-
eat something sweet. Not
I need
Yeah,
it in
it's like-
slices.
but it's
I'm
like
not taking
hard.
a whole bite out of an
yeah,
apple.
it's like
It's
hard.
absurd.
You're like holding it, and it's
No,
like
it's
awkward.
messy.
Yeah,
you can't
I
get
hated
your
it.
it's
Got all over
sticky.
my face. I
No,
hate it.
not my
no,
fave.
no.
An apple slice, maybe dipped
There
in
you
caramel.
go. I can do
No.
that. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
a caramel apple rolled in nuts and drizzled with chocolate. Oh, bitch.
Oh, you're in.
I will fuck that shit up. I love a
Yeah.
caramel apple. Candy
get it.
apples are trash, though. I agree with
They're
that one.
gross.
Yeah, they are gross.
Okay,
Okay.
so what happens next?
Okay, I'll
give
tell
us the
you.
skinny.
How about you calm down? I'm getting
What's-
there, okay?
What's the tea?
What's the tea, sis?
What's the tea, sis?
Okay. Years later, an adult Adelaide goes on vacation with her husband Gabe and their kids Zora and Jason. She's apprehensive about the trip, haunted by her memories. Despite her misgivings, the family meet with their friends Josh and Kitty Tyler and their twin daughters at the beach. On the way there, they witness paramedics taking away the body of an old man, blood on his chest. Jason later sees someone strangely similar to the old man standing still with his arms outstretched and hands bloody. Discuss.
I forgot Elizabeth Moss was in this movie.
Yeah.
Same.
Sorry, like, oh, I want to like her, but she's a Scientologist, and that
Yeah,
really
the
just
same.
ruins it.
She
Yeah,
is?
same.
Yes.
she's such a good actress, and when I found that out, I was like, ugh,
It ruins it.
But you're in a
ruins
cult.
it. Yeah.
No.
Really?
Like to be in The
Why?
Handmaid's Tale and then to like be in a real life cult is just like
It makes
so disappointing.
like make it make
Cognitive
sense.
dissonance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh. But
That
she is a great actress.
Yeah, she is.
the chanting music when it cuts to them like at the beach. Oh,
For being fed. It's so good.
Yeah.
so creepy.
love-
I love the
love it.
soundtrack.
I love
Soundtrack
anything
is
that's
so
like
good.
Latin and creepy and like
Mhm.
sounds like it belongs
So,
in like a
like-
Gothic cathedral.
yeah, agreed.
yeah, yeah.
It's all these like
Ugh.
very short, just like it just is like ugh, it's very uneasy. I love it.
I also was like, girl, why in the ever living shit would you ever go back to this place?
Well, she was very hesitant to be
Yeah.
fair.
Well, yeah, I guess, but I think I would put my foot very much down.
I have
She
to
did.
say too, like when you rewatch it, and so you know that she is the tethered version of herself the whole time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like she's, I don't know. Like I have a harder time feeling bad for her because I'm like, I know what the fuck you are.
It's
You're
so
up to shit.
it's so hard to feel
Mhm.
bad for her. I'm just like,
I do question though, because I feel like towards the end of the movie, they're like almost implying that she maybe like forgot that she was a tethered person. I don't know. That was like sort of a vibe that I was getting.
How
And
so?
I don't know. Like, well, there's that part where she's in the car with her son at the end, and she's sort of like having this moment where it's like showing that moment.
Mhm.
And to me, I read that as like she's kind of like remembering that moment. And that's why like I was really confused for so much of it, because it was like she's acting like she doesn't know like what's going on, but it's like, wouldn't she though? Like, why would she not remember all of like this stuff? So that was like that's like one of those things where throughout this movie I'm like, I don't get if she remembers, but like why wouldn't she? But there are just things throughout the movie that like confuse me as to whether she like remembered if she was a tethered person or not.
I think
No.
she
She knows, but she has
Yeah.
to pretend she doesn't. She has to pretend to be a normal person that doesn't know about all the fuck shit going on down there.
there's like little thing
Oh.
there's like little things throughout, because I noticed this like rewatching it today, because at one point, like when they're doing something and she says, no, they're gonna know we're here, they know what we think, and I'm like,
Mhm.
because you are one of them. So
Mhm.
But
you
like when she
know
goes
what they-
down,
There's
when she goes
also-
down into it again, she's like doesn't know. I don't know. I just got like a vibe that she like didn't know or didn't remember. I don't know.
There's also theories that going back to like the scene with Jason, we can talk about it later because it's towards the end of the movie, but the fact that he is also a tethered.
Oh, because he's looking at her real.
Yeah. But there's theories that like he was swapped that last year, because remember, he doesn't know how the magic trick works when he gets to the house, but it's only been a year since he's been there, and like he'd know how it worked and stuff. And like there's a bunch of little like Easter eggs to show that he like doesn't like quite fit in, like he's offbeat like his mom in the snapping scene.
I noticed that. I was like, she's not on beat. Like, why is she saying hit the beat and she's like not snapping with the beat? I didn't know if I was crazy.
Because the tethered can't keep rhythm. So that's why he couldn't keep, people think that's why he couldn't keep rhythm either. So like there's a theory going around that he is also tethered, and that's why he gives her like the side eye at the end of the movie.
Well, technically,
but this is the end of the movie. We have to talk about the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. Okay, let's get back to
I know all of my questions sort of like are at the end. So yeah, okay, continue.
But okay, I love Gabe. He is a great husband and a great father or whatever. He got on my fucking nerves. Oh my god, he does.
But his thighs, though.
Shut up, you gay.
He's the most like dad.
He's literally
man spreads across that bed. I was like, table for one, please.
I was like, that's such an awkward position. He's just like.
It's
so
like typical, I have to sit on top of you.
Oh,
he's literally so much like my dad. I was like, shut up, your jokes aren't funny. Stop it.
But it's like such dad shit. Like I have so many. Like when they make it to the house and like everyone's asleep and he's like, we made it. It's just such a dad. It cracked me up. I mean, like he definitely got annoying to the point where he's like, when he's like, well, it must be the neighbors. But like so many of his lines were just like, oh my god, that is the most dad shit ever.
I have 3 notes in a row that say he has such good dad energy. Not the dab, the dad dab, the dad.
The dab.
The dab.
Silent B on the end of that one.
Yeah.
And also, like, have we gotten to the beach part yet?
Yes. They're at the
wow, I wonder why she wouldn't want to go to the beach.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't she want to go to the beach?
She could have come up with a lie, and like, I was nearly attacked by a shark when I was a child. I have I'm Anakin. I just really fucking hate sand. I can't.
I hate sand. It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Like she could have come up with like some excuse to get out of it, but whatever. My god, the Tylers, the wife Kitty, just peak white people humor.
Literally
calling wine mommy's medicine. And then joking about how much you hate your spouse. I was like, stop.
I made a joke. I made a joke or I made a comment of just like the way he, oh my god, I'm getting a delivery, people. I'm getting a delivery. It is a white claw on a sword.
The best way to get it.
Wow.
That was amazing.
That's good balancing.
Wow.
It really is.
Yeah.
Delivery.
I also have a note that's like, wow, you're greeted with a dead body when you get to the beach, and it's the guy from the night you got snatched. Girl.
I had a note.
Things are looking good for this trip.
Because every time, has anybody seen Tim and Eric Awesome Show?
Mm-hmm.
Every time I see Tim is like, he's an actor, he acts in things, but every time I see him, I'm like, oh, that's Tim. All I can think of is Tim and Eric Awesome Show every time I see him.
Oh, is that the same guy?
Yeah, that's Tim.
Oh, I didn't realize it was the same guy. He looked so different.
I know.
I was like, what are you talking? What does that have to do with anything, Kirsten?
It's free real estate.
I like there was some foreshadowing because Zora's trying to like talk about there being fluoride in the water or whatever, and her whole family ignores her. She goes, I guess nobody cares about the end of the world. And I was like, oh, that's accurate.
So I remember watching it at the time. I was like, ha ha ha, real. But like rewatching it in 2022, I'm like,
not funny, ha ha.
Yeah, funny, weird.
Funny, weird. What do you know, Jordan Peele?
I liked, it's like it's just a quick moment, but I liked the shot where the frisbee lands on her towel and it fits exactly perfectly on the dot.
So
and she like
satisfying.
she looks at it so like freaked out. I love it.
And Elizabeth Monster's like, that's so
I might
funny.
be also reading
Just, like,
into
moves on.
things too much, but it was a blue dot which could represent the Earth, and the frisbee was red, which is the tethered color.
Well, looky there.
I thought that was cool.
I think that's a good idea. That's a good, yeah.
Also, the guy, I feel bad, but literally in the year of our Lord 2022 now, when I saw the guy standing like this on the beach, I was like, Mama for wall. Mama for wall.
Mama for wall.
Mama held hands across America.
Shut the fuck up. I hate you so much.
Funny.
It's not that funny.
Okay,
Mama.
And she'd be like, good for you, honey.
Oh my God. That's so stupid.
So stupid.
Oh, did anybody okay, so I'm curious about this scene because it just like happens and I'm not really sure if it actually meant anything, but she looks over at the table and there's a toy plastic spider and then a real spider crawling along right next to it. But she doesn't react at all. Like she's not freaked out by the spider at all. And it's just like it's like a weird shot, but I feel like it was put in for a reason. So I was kind of like, what's being said in this scene?
The real versus the fake. The
and imposter. I have no idea.
Yeah.
That's actually a good. The real versus the fake.
Yeah.
That's
true.
Yeah, and you didn't even see the real one coming because it was right under the fake one's shadow.
Yeah.
And
then she's like, "Oh, am I a fake ass bitch?"
It's all tethered together.
Shut up.
I wanted to make a Siberia joke.
Wait, what did you say?
I said it's all tethered together.
Now I see why you want to kick me out every time.
That night, Adelaide tells Gabe about her childhood experience, but she's interrupted by a family of 4 dressed in red who appear in the driveway of the home before breaking into their house. Cornering the Wilsons in their own living room, the family is revealed as their doppelgangers. They are Pluto, Umbre, Abraham, and they're led by Red, the only one who can speak, albeit in a guttural, raspy voice. Red explains that they are called the Tethered, as they share a soul with their look-alike counterparts, and they have come to untether themselves. She tells them the story of a girl who lives a life of comfort and joy while her shadow remains in the dark, suffering while living a mirrored, painful version of the girl's life and hating the girl for it. The Wilsons are separated and terrorized by their demented doppelgangers. Adelaide is handcuffed, and Jason discovers that Pluto mirrors his actions. After Gabe finally kills Abraham, the family gets on their boat together to go find help.
Before we get into the nitty-gritty of all this section, I just want to say that those thighs were working overtime in that bed, and that they are thicker than me entirely, and that I have to appreciate.
Bonk, horny jail.
Okay. Thank you.
You could probably do that trend on TikTok where people are taking
I will
watermelons.
go willingly.
People are taking watermelons and like crushing them with their thighs.
Yeah.
You could probably do that.
He probably could,
trend.
yeah.
Yeah, he could. This one.
I just want to say the acting between every actor, just like because knowing that that's the same actor and they're playing these like characters and how different all the characters are. God, Lupita is so good.
She literally, it feels like 2 different people. She's so good.
Yes. And the way they designed the characters, like they physically look like 2 different people.
Yeah.
I had that thought when Elizabeth Moss is, what is her name? What is her character name?
Kitty,
yeah.
Oh, Kitty. I had that thought
when it's Kitty
when she is like killed, and I was like, oh man, I didn't remember her like dying so fast in this movie, and I was like, she's still in this movie for a while. Like totally forgot.
No, the acting was like, I don't know why this like killed me because it's so relatable. But when like Addie's like trying to like have this heartfelt discussion of like what's bothering her and telling her husband about her childhood, and he like tries making like a joke about it, and she turns around and gives him the most annoyed look ever. I was like, yeah, I know that feeling.
Relatable.
Yeah, you're just like this stupid man.
I love he's like I saw at thought the same thing because she's like in the Hall of Mirrors, and I saw a girl that looked just like me. Yeah, well, you were in the Hall of Mirrors.
I mean, he has a
so
point, is the thing.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you're not making your point there.
Okay, so here's where my gripes start coming in.
Interesting. Okay.
When the Hall of Mirror swap happens, she's probably like 10-ish.
I don't know.
I feel like, well, you know, roughly.
Give or take.
Something like that.
Yeah. I feel like that's old enough to like definitely remember. So like I don't understand, like, you know, I mean, we find out later that the tethered version is like the original girl. So like why can't she speak normally? Like why doesn't she just be like,
none of the tethered can talk?
No, I know.
But she can't speak because she crushed her windpipe.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole thing, is that's why she talks like this.
That's good. Okay, so but why doesn't she just like say that she is like, I don't know. I mean, I guess she's like,
well,
all
she
weird,
organized
just,
this
like,
whole thing.
I know.
I don't think she cares about everybody finding out the truth of who the real Addie is. She doesn't care. She just wants revenge. Like I don't think she's like, oh, hey, I'm gonna tell you guys what's up. She actually, she's the tether. Like she doesn't gain anything by that. She's like,
that is one question I had. So like that is one question I had about this movie is like, because when they swap like that, can she not just
why can't she get out?
Can she not just get out? Like
she shuts the door, she drags her back down, and like I think she's the only tethered that knew that door, that hidden doorway into the Hall of Mirrors was there. Nobody knew it was there, and of course like the real Addie didn't see herself get dragged down, so she didn't know how to get back out.
I don't think the tethered of Addie knew it was there until she was there, because Addie brought her there technically, because don't the tethered have to follow their person? So that's how they met, is she just went to the right spot.
That's another thing that I thought, like, do they like, is she just like kind of more advanced in general? Because like talking about like her going in that like fun house, it felt almost like trance like the way she just kind of like went there. I wonder if there was some kind of like brain waves like happening, like.
Well, she does say that, she says a couple times that she feels like God chose her. And so I don't think it's ever said in this movie, but I do kind of like wonder if there was this like idea of like of a god being like, oh, you humans, you've created these soulless monsters. Like this is going to be like essentially like a second flooding. This is going to be your upcoming. I'm going to like make you suffer your own consequences or whatever. So like, it does feel like divine intervention.
I have so many questions. I feel like I've got a lot of questions.
My roommates, one of the things that I love about this movie so much is that for the very most majority of it, you think it's like a family drama and that this is just happening to them because she has this weird connection to it. But it like keeps opening up bigger and bigger and bigger until it's like whole countrywide scale, which is something that I love and is so cool.
Yeah.
But oh crap, what was I gonna say? I had a whole point and then it totally went away.
I have a question.
Okay, maybe I'll think of it while you have a question.
Are the tethered, were they like made by someone, or is this
they were government testing? Yeah, they were
government testing. Okay. So how do they make it?
So
it's a story. It's a story in a lot of films that I've noticed like that have clones and stuff. It's like creating clones so that you have like a body for like so you have like a body for like if your organs fail or stuff like that.
So are they making so like the parents, are the clones having sex and like having the kid, or is it a clone, or is it like clone DNA of the kids?
Well,
do you see what I'm saying?
I think
since they're tethered,
they just have to copy whatever the original people do.
So this is my next question. Okay, if the top side people are like the ones making everything run, right? Like they're like the main one, and then the tethered is just following them.
Okay.
If our main girl is now underground, how is the tethered girl now? Like, why isn't original girl the one still like making the calls on everything? Like at what point do they like become two different people? Do you know what I'm saying?
Maybe it's the physical proximity.
I assumed it was just because Addie's different.
Okay.
I had that same question, Lauren, because I was just like, oh, so she just switches and she controls her now?
Because I think she couldn't find a way out, and then she convinced the tethered because the tethered had no way of doing this, and she was the first one that could speak and could like convince them of anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how this whole thing got started. But I think the tethered was able to go up there and figure it out, because she didn't talk for like weeks or months or whatever the therapist was saying. Like, she definitely acted weird.
Yeah.
So like, I think that part makes sense.
Well, and I think the tethered only mirror the original people because they don't know what else they're supposed to do. Because Red says at the end that, like, you know, they were made as clones to see if the clones could control the people on the surface, but it didn't work. So the government just dropped them. They're like, never mind. Stay in these fucking tunnels. And so then the tethered were like, they didn't know what to do, so they just copy whatever their soul does. And then Addie, Red is like, hey, you guys actually don't have to do this. We can go up there and like fucking kill them and live our own lives. And the tethered are like, oh, good idea, let's go do that.
Okay, that all checks out. I
thought of my point though.
Oh yeah,
so the movie gets bigger and bigger and bigger, but when it's still a family and they call the police and they're like, there'll be 14 minutes, and my roommates were literally like, it has been 14 minutes. Where are the police? I know it's been 14 minutes.
I didn't even think.
And I was like, just wait. It gets like it's happening to a lot of people.
It's funny because I completely
like
forgot. I completely forgot that she called the police. Like, I completely forgot that was the thing. Yeah. And then like, and then she recalls them later, and he's like, how is 911 keeping you on hold? Yeah.
All night. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for clearing up my questions. This is helping.
I just remembered looking at my notes, the way Lupita plays Red, just like fucking holding the scissors with a big smile and like doing that really weird, creepy walk she does, like the little steps, like really quickly. It's so off-putting. I hate it so much.
But she doesn't move anything from like the knee up.
Just her legs. Like, it's
horrifying.
So creepy.
It's so good though.
That part where they're standing in the driveway and I don't know if it's the boy or the girl, just like dashes into the shrubs, like
yeah. And he goes off.
Yeah, the way they're all just standing there, and he just like
the way Pluto crawls on all fours, like so fast.
Yeah.
When she just like claps in the driveway and they all scatter.
Yes, yeah.
I don't know if it was intentional either. So I was thinking about how he acts like a dog. Like, he growls and he only crawls on all fours, and he's named Pluto.
Yeah.
And the real Addie,
the girl
Red,
would have like seen Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. I was
True.
like, was that on purpose?
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Oh, that's fucked. That's
fucked up.
And you're like, did she train him to act like that? Because she doesn't even.
Fucked up is too fucked up.
Because I mean, it's obvious she doesn't care about her kids. She doesn't love them. She never wanted them. Like, she was forced to have them because Addie had them. And so it's like she treats her own kid like a dog.
Yeah, she calls her the daughter like a monster.
Like,
and then that smile, I was like, ugh.
The daughter's smile was like the scariest fucking thing.
I said that she's the creepiest one. The daughter is like so scary.
She's so scary. So the first time I watched this, Red's speech about like how she's had to mirror whatever Addie does her whole life, it's just kind of like creepy, and you're just sort of like, oh, what the fuck is going on? But then the second time watching it, I actually felt so bad for Red, and I was like, damn, like, she had to give herself a C-section just because Addie's having a kid, which I was also like, is this kind of like are we also kind of talking about abortion rights right now? Like forcing women to have children just because some people want children?
Oh.
I don't know. It felt like we were talking about that.
She's a thinker.
Also, when she was like talking about that, I was like, is there like, how are they not dying from like bleeding out.
Yeah.
Or like
what is the medical situation?
Yeah, or
like
or diseases, like
can't be good. Cannot be good.
And you're
like,
only eating
they
raw
must have
rabbit?
running water?
Yeah,
they must have running
rabbit.
water. But
yeah.
Bruh.
But also that line where Gabe is like, "What are you people?" And she like looks shocked for a minute and it gets this huge smile. And she's like, "We're Americans."
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
yuck, yuck.
Also, like, you're rooting for him that whole fight scene on the boat, and he finally gets the guy off the boat, and then it speeds away, and he falls into the water, and you're like,
God damn it, Gabe.
Okay, great.
One thing,
and your thighs saved you this time.
Something I noticed on this watch that I hadn't noticed before, when you first see Abraham, you know, he's like staring like this or whatever, and he rips Gabe's glasses up and puts them on, and he's like, "Oh wow, I can see." And I was like, that is so sad. He's had to live his whole life without being able to see.
Yeah.
He doesn't have access to healthcare or whatever the fuck. Like, no, but I'm saying, like, I feel like this movie is really just kind of like, hey, life is really fucking unfair for some people, even though it shouldn't be.
Also, Adelaide is fucking resourceful as fuck, using the leverage with the fire poker to like break the table.
Oh yeah,
to get the handcuff off. I was like, that is smart, and not a lot of girls in horror movies would think of that.
Nope.
I remember a fun fact I read somewhere when I was looking for trivia. Apparently that table that she's chained to in real life, like the table is super fucking light and you could just like move it like back and forth. So her having to act like she had to reach, it was like super funny because the table's actually super light. Oh, I am curious. It just kind of like happens and it doesn't seem to happen with any other tethered. Like, why does Pluto mirror what Jason does?
Oh, I don't know.
Like, they realize that Jason realizes that in the
when he's like,
he just like copies him, but they don't say why.
Why does he kill himself? Why does he do that?
Because he's copying him.
Yeah,
but none of the other tethered feel like, is it just because he's young and he doesn't fully know he has autonomy yet, or like
it might be because of that.
Or is it because he's been treated like a dog to just obey commands? I don't know. True. It was just weird. I was like, why does he mirror Jason, but nobody else does?
Because he walked right into that fire.
Yeah. Well, see, at first he wasn't copying him, and then all of a sudden, like Jason, like does that, and then he does it. So maybe he thinks it's like a game.
Oh,
yeah, because they were like playing together. Yeah.
That's really sad because he's probably never actually like played with another kid before. Because his sister's a monster.
Unless he has, because he's tethered.
Oh, but I was like, when Gabe sneaks up from the boat with the bat and like fucking clobbers Abraham, and then he like gets grinded up into the boat motor. There's blood everywhere. Oh, so good. And
it's like you don't see him. He literally just like You're like, oh,
I love that.
Boat came in handy, even though no one wanted it.
Yeah. Dad boat save.
We got to the part where like she runs after her, right? Like so like that part where she like tells her to run and then the tether chases after her. That little kid, like I said, creepiest one, when she goes to like run after her and she like stretches and then takes off, and then the moment they're at the car and she's
smiling through the car,
and when she ducks down, my brain would be like, oh, get out of there. Why are you
get away from the car, girl? Run.
Like, the car is not the place to be.
Although the shot of her like running away and the neighbor. Like she slides up and stabs the neighbor in the stomach. That was so good.
It's really
good. And his tethered is like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
That was mine.
That was my kid. Oh yeah. I didn't think about that because later on when like she goes to like kill Red, goes to kill Adelaide and she doesn't because that's Red's tethered. Like
Okay, let's go on to the next part. Meanwhile, the Tyler family is assaulted and murdered by their own doppelgangers at home. The Wilsons arrive and are assaulted as well, but they manage to eventually overpower and kill the Tyler's doubles. They turn on the news to see that the tethered have been murdering their equivalents across the U.S., and joining hands to form a massive human chain. The Wilsons decide to drive along the coast and escape to Mexico. While leaving, Umbre attacks the car and Zora kills her by sending her flying into a tree where she is impaled on a branch.
Yes.
Dying to good vibrations is just a vibe. Like
right?
I wouldn't.
Is a good vibe.
How mad can you be?
That whole scene is so good because it's so like it's so like just like normal. They're just having time, and then the girls come out, and he's just like, "What?" And then the camera turns and just streak, and you're like, "Oh."
Yeah, you see the
so
sister
funny.
react. She's like, "What?"
It's so funny. I had a note that was like, God, these miserable teenage girls need to die. And then it goes, oh, well, wish granted. Cool. Awesome.
Real quick.
The tethered version of Josh, like acting like he's at a help probe and be like, oh, psych. That was so funny.
Such a good moment. he's like picked up the mannerisms of the guide and
the way that Jordan Peele like adds humor into it, where it feels authentic, it's just like realness. Or later, we didn't talk about this, like when she's like telling the story, like to them when they're like tied up, and Gibbs is like, I'll give you the car, I'll give you the house, I'll give you the boat, and she's like, Dad, nobody wants that boat.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's so like funny and like kind of like it's very authentic. It's just so good. I love Jordan Peele's directing.
When Adelaide gets grabbed and dragged into the house and then the kids go to save her, they take their fucking time. I was like, go save your mom, come on, I know you're children, but like chop.
Yeah.
That one part makes me so laugh when they're like, you know, the kids are going through, and then one of the twins like goes in and goes, ah!
Oh, yeah, just takes that twin out so fast. I love that part.
Well, and the dad, like when he's chasing him down the hill, it sounds like, I know he's like, he can't talk or whatever, but it sounds like he's going, wah!
It sounded like to me, if anybody's ever played Left 4 Dead, there's a zombie, because it's a zombie game and there's like special zombies, and one of them's called the Hunter, and he literally screams like that. Because I picked up that scream like when I used to work in haunted houses, because it's so terrifying. So like hearing him do that, I'm like, oh, you sound like a hunter zombie. And then when he's going down the boat and he's like he's screaming and he goes down. It's so funny.
Oh, the scene where the tethered version of Kitty is just like staring into the mirror, like playing with makeup, is so creepy and sad at the same time. You're like, oh, she's never had makeup. She's never felt pretty, but also she's
probably
really
done the
creepy.
motions.
Where's that shiny lip, girl?
And then her like doing like emotions, like when she looks at the mirror and she does that like scream and then goes into a laugh.
Oh my god, that's so
creepy.
creepy. Oh, I love that scene.
Her acting is so good. Why is she in a cult?
Why is she like that? Infuriating. I loved when they're like deciding who's gonna drive and they do like the kill count comparisons.
Yes,
like, I've got the
I was like Legolas and Gimli vibes.
Literally
the exact same thing.
No, I killed more.
Yeah.
That only counts as one.
Yeah.
I killed Josh's and me, so
yeah. It was funny.
Also, when they're watching the news and they're like, oh, you know, they're joining their hands and standing there, whatever. I think it's Gabe. Somebody is just like, how many of these people are there? And Addie just kind of has this look like bitch, you know what's going on, and you won't say it.
Okay, here's another question.
It's your fault.
Why are the tethered doing that?
Because Adelaide rallied them to do this because she had the Hands Across America t-shirt or the like poster.
Right, but like, why are they doing it?
As a form of protest. Because if each tethered kills their doppelganger, eventually it'll be just them.
See, my thing isn't as much the why as into where they got the uniform gold scissors for everybody.
Where did the scissors come from? I have this question as well.
Well,
where did they get the materials for the jumpsuit? Where are the scissors from?
Well, I'm guessing the jumpsuits were probably like the government issued like tethered uniforms.
Standard issued.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming they just, because they say these are old like service routes or storage that aren't used anymore, some subway systems, whatever. So I assume they just like found some supplies. They probably found a whole thing of like scissors and they were like, oh, perfect weapons. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
just-
I mean, I have to take it because there's nothing to explain.
And they are doing it because it is a form of protest. Because I mean, she says that at the end, she's like, "It's not enough to kill you. We have to make a statement."
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like this is one of those movies I wasn't thinking too much like, why this, why that? I was just kind of like looking for all the symbolism. So I wasn't really thinking about that kind of stuff that much. I thought it was so funny that there's just dead bodies littered all over it, and they're just chilling, sitting there like eating food and watching TV. I was like, the corpses don't bother y'all?
Yeah, what?
Well, he makes that comment. He's like, "We could stay here. We got food. We got a backup generator. Okay, tell that to the Tylers." Like that. Oh, another scene that I thought was so cool, like that shot also when the kids are going through, like going to kill, and then you just see like the handstand kid, like twin, and she drops down.
Oh, that's so
like
good.
y'all are gymnasts all of a sudden. Like, what's going on?
Well, they were doing cartwheels on the beach.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah.
So the tethered they've been bendy since birth as well.
Oh yeah, they be bendy.
The scene where Adelaide goes back in to get the keys and Kitty's not actually dead and attacks her. And then Jason comes in and sees Addie with the scissors killing Kitty. And Jason's face like, who are you? Like, that is so, it's like the first hint that like Addie's not actually Addie, but you don't know that yet. So you're just kind of like, that was weird of her.
There's little things sprinkled in like that. So like when that happens, you'll hear her like grunt or like make some kind of like, or like twitch. Yeah. It's so good.
Or so after Zora like kills Umbre and like sends her flying into the trees where she's impaled, Addie like gets out of the car, and I was kind of like, what, like double tap rule, like make sure she's dead, or like what?
Not double tap.
You always got to double tap.
Yeah, you got to double tap.
But then she seemed like she wanted to like soothe her, and like I don't know, like
I mean, because I got that. I think it was a double tap. I think she went out there to try and make sure, and then when I mean, it's the face of her daughter. Like it's kind of hard for like you're staring at your kid. It's like, how can you end the life of somebody that looks like your child? Like I guess it's kind of like traumatizing. It's just like
Also, it's really sad that Addie cares more about Red's kids than Red does.
Yeah.
Well, Red like literally was like so resentful.
Yeah, Red didn't want any of this. She was just like, you married somebody that I didn't even want. I had these kids that I didn't even want. It's just like,
but again, I feel like that's such a good like metaphor, having to like marry someone and have kids, and you never wanted any of that, and then like those kids turn into monsters because their own mom didn't even want them. Like oh, it was also so creepy and sad that Umbre's literally like dying, like stuck on the tree, and she's still like giggling.
Yeah.
Oh,
she's so creepy.
When her feet are like right next to her head, and you're just like
it always like I love when you have kids in movies and they're good actors. It's just like when you find kids like that, you're like, you're gonna go far, kid. Then she's one of them.
Okay, next section. Arriving at the boardwalk, the family find the townspeople already slaughtered. They also find the road blocked by a burning car. Jason, realizing it's a trap set by Pluto, orders everyone out of the car. Jason backs away so that Pluto mirrors him and walks himself into the burning car. Red suddenly appears and snatches Jason. Adelaide chases after Red to the funhouse where they first met. She finds a secret entrance that leads to an underground facility overrun by white rabbits, where she finds Red in a classroom.
Okay, so you read that and it made me think of like, I don't believe this theory, but it made me think of like Siberia's theory of like maybe Jason's tethered because Adelaide does like it's like she knows what the Red is thinking, and like in that moment Jason's like, it's a trap. You're onto something.
Yeah.
Because he knows too.
And he knows that the tethered have to follow like what the other person does, so that's why he backs up.
Yeah. But like him knowing that it's a trap, that's kind of like, okay, I could see it as like maybe like there's something special about Pluto and Jason that maybe, because like technically she is a tethered and she gave birth to a child, and I think maybe he has more of like his mama's instinct of like this stuff. Like he has a tethered brain. If that makes sense.
Maybe part.
Yeah. because that would mean that like Pluto also has part like human brain.
Yeah.
Because technically he was born of a human.
That's true.
And a tethered.
I feel like that makes sense. That makes total
Yeah.
That
sense.
makes sense. Yeah.
I also I'm thinking about like he's younger, and it seems clear to me that he doesn't really want to kill anybody. He just wants to play with fire and whatever.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes me think like, could the tethered be redeemable if they were just treated like humans? But they don't get that chance.
Good moral dilemma there too. Yeah.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I do feel bad for the tethered. They don't know what's going on. They don't know anything about their lives. Like it's just they're just under there, like left, like just to live this like horrible life. Like, and they're being they see that like Red, but
they don't know how horrible it is.
Yeah, and they see that Red is different. So like it's kind of like when people, this is another thing, oh my god, maybe it's like symbolism for like the whole like Trump thing, like when, because like a lot of people are down and you got somebody telling them I can fix this, and it's just kind of like you just kind of follow that like person that's telling you they can fix this, even if they're like doing horrible things. Your brain is just like, no, you can, this is good, this is fixing the problem. I'm thinking more. I'm like talking about this movie. It's making my brain work more.
Red keeps referring to the tethered as they. So like she doesn't include herself in the tethered. She keeps talking about them and they. Which if she can do it, then y'all can too. Okay, we can use they them as pronouns.
A learning lesson.
I had a note somewhere in here that when almost every time she talks to Addie, she says we, as if they are the same person.
They're one person, technically.
Yeah, it's really, there's so many clues like sprinkled in. I was gonna say though that the Pluto walking into the fire scene is really like iconic. I love that shot. It's so pretty and creepy.
I have a note from when the Lupitas are talking to each other in the basement part. And it's like I literally can't even take notes right now because Lupita is so mesmerizing. Like I literally was just like,
I had my phone down.
The way they have that shot framed of like them both in focus, but Lupita's like right,
and she looks like crazy eyes and like
she's like so close in the camera, but you can also see the other version in the background is like such a good.
Yeah, I was waiting until we got to that because I love that scene and I was gonna talk about it.
I know there's a name for that style of shot when like both things are in focus, but I can't remember what it's called, but it's very cool.
Yeah,
and also it's the same. She handcuffs her to the bed with the same handcuffs that they used to handcuff her to the table.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of gold long boys.
And that's the same one that Addie uses to handcuff her when she first kidnaps her and drags her down there. It's that same handcuffs.
True.
Yeah.
Multiple uses.
My heart broke a little bit. I don't remember the exact part of the conversation, but there's one point where Red says, "You know we're human too, right?" And I was like, "Oh, that's so." But I mean, what is a human without a soul? Like it's
so great. Like there's so much to think about.
Yeah, it's just like where like the lines of like morality get so blurry.
It very much reminds me of season 1 Game of Thrones when Khal Drogo is like almost dead and the witch brings him back, but he's like just like nothing, and she's like, this is he's what you wanted, this is life, like this is life when there's no soul behind it. It's like
we actually jumped ahead. I'm sorry, I hadn't actually got to that part.
Okay. I was waiting until you talked about it. I was gonna scream so much. I love it.
The shot of her going down the escalator was so cool.
It's really cool.
Like just the use of like the mirrors and the lights, like it's so good. It shared that with like Last Night in Soho. Like the cinematography is very intentional.
Yes, it does feel like Alice going down the hole into Wonderland through the looking glass. Now that I know that that's part of like the reference, I noticed that now. Okay, Red tells Adelaide that the tethered are actually genetic clones created by the government to control the originals on the surface. When the experiment failed, the tethered were abandoned underground for generations, mindlessly mimicking the actions of their counterparts and surviving on rabbit meat. After they realized that Red was different from the others, she organized them to escape and take vengeance by murdering their counterparts. Red and Adelaide begin to fight. Adelaide impales Red with a fireplace poker, then strangles her to death and breaks her neck before rescuing Jason from a locker. Jason also rescues one of the rabbits. While Adelaide drives the family away in the ambulance, she thinks back to the terrifying night she first met Red in the Hall of Mirrors. It is revealed that the clone had choked Adelaide unconscious, dragged her underground, handcuffed her there, and returned above ground to take Adelaide's place in her life, eventually learning to speak and adjusting as a human being. Thus, it is revealed that she is the tethered clone and Red was the real Adelaide. Jason looks suspiciously at his mother, who merely gives him a sly smile. A final aerial shot shows that the tethered have formed a human chain, replicating the Hands Across America demonstration, stretching across the United States as helicopters hover overhead.
God, that
iconic reveal, honestly. Upon like first time, it's like, oh shit.
That twist.
Parrot trapped him.
That whole like scene of like just like them in the classroom and like her movements and like the dun 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 music and then her like trying to get her, but she like just keeps like dancing her way out of and like the back and forth between them dancing. It's like it goes and you could tell like it jumps between her doing ballet and then Red is doing modern dance. It's like it jumps between those it jumps between that ballet and modern danceness and you're just like, this is so good.
One of my favorite lines of the whole movie is like, without you, I never would have danced at all. Because if they hadn't switched places, she wouldn't have had to express herself through art and she wouldn't have gotten into dancing. So the tethered one really would never have danced at all. And it's so crazy.
And I've noticed how the tether will pick up like one specific thing about a person that they do that's just kind of like something that they do and it's like they cling to it. It's like the twins with their acrobats. Red with the dancing, the makeup and the gussiness that like Kitty puts on, and then like the funny like stuff, the fight. It's just like everything, just like the way that they pick up that one thing and make it their personality when they go, oh, it's so good. I just love that scene so much where they're dancing and she's trying to attack her. That part where she like throws it at her and she like does this like whoo and then jumps up and oh, so good.
When she comes up from between the beds.
Yes, that's like, such a creepy shot.
So good.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say because I've seen this movie like 6 times because I love it so much. This is like my 6th time watching it, and like because I was watching it right before this, and we were jumping on, and I was like, I have to watch my favorite part first. And as soon as that like ended, I was like, okay, I can go join the recording. Like I know how it ends. I was like, I got to see the scene again.
And the part with her monologue where she's like, she's whistling at the end and it's slowly becoming her gagging on the blood. Like the acting is so good.
I love
Lupita's acting when you like see Adelaide for who she really is and she starts making the creepy tethered noises and like those guttural noises and she starts acting like the faces she makes, she's like becomes so creepy.
It's so freaky.
It's so good.
And I love how they tie in that whistling because like that's how they found each other in the beginning was the whistling. And so like when they're together again, like leaving each other again, the whistle. I'm getting cold chills thinking about that whole scene. Just like the acting that Lupita does, like the dying of her, and then you could see the tether come out of Adelaide, like when she's like, oh, Lupita's so good.
Yes.
This is amazing.
This ended and I was like, Lupita's my favorite actress. Like this is hot. I can't like.
Have you seen that horror comedy that she's in?
And that ending shot, because you're like, what could happen next? Oh, sorry.
No, what? Which one? What?
The ending shot with the. Oh, sorry.
Who do I pay attention to?
You cut off, and I couldn't tell if Lauren was talking or not. Lauren, go. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry. I don't remember what it was. I know that the cover is like she's in a yellow dress, but I can't remember what it's called. It's good though. I'll look.
La La Land.
No.
Horror comedy La La Land.
Yeah, horror comedy.
That is a horror movie to me.
It is a horror movie.
Little Monsters.
No, I remember hearing about Little Monsters. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
I just think the final shot with the helicopters and stuff, because like the tethered couldn't run helicopters, so there are like people still left. So you're like, I'm like, what is going on in that world?
They're gonna get
like
wiped.
what is happening? It's like the weirdest zombie apocalypse ever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually not wrong.
Like the most specific zombie apocalypse. And it's one country. The rest of the world is like,
yeah, everyone's like, what the fuck happened to America? Which is
they're
what saying
already
anyway, so.
thinking that, yeah.
So that's a good metaphor too for like the real world. They're all looking at us like,
I wonder if it is, because I mean, this was 2019. This was all Trump era and all the like crazy shit that we went through. I mean, maybe that is another look at like America literally is ruining itself. Like it's just like
from the inside out, baby.
It is.
Yeah. I'm really curious. Kitty.
He's just curious.
I'm really curious how much I remember what I was gonna say. The way that Addie is like acting like a tethered, like going crazy after like choking Red. And then she like hears a noise and she's like acting crazy and she yanks it open and it's her own son. And she suddenly like remembers she has to act normal.
Yeah.
It's so good. And you're like, how much did Jason see?
Yeah.
Which is why he's looking at her so funky at the end.
Yeah.
He's like, bitch, I don't trust you.
Or because he's also tethered.
I believe that theory.
I don't know. I don't know that he would be like scared of her if he knows.
I mean,
she could still be crazy and you could still be scared of her.
I don't think he is tethered. I think it's one of those things where he's just special. And like he has kind of like his mom's like brain and
but the sister would be like that too, no?
I think she was also a little different. She just listened to her music and kept to herself. She couldn't really relate to the other girls. Like,
if you think about it, those two have such specific personalities. Like all of the tether kind of act the same. Like they just kind of copy that. They kind of copy like what their things are doing. And those two are different. I mean, she's like a monster. She smiles. She's like creepy. You got like this dog boy. Like they are different. Yeah.
And I might be reaching. I just thought about it because, of course, this like a little bit pertains to my own life. It kind of feels like, because Adelaide is a tethered and she's from a whole different world. She didn't have a normal childhood until she like swapped with the real Addie or whatever. Like kids from like a family that aren't like everybody else, that don't have money and resources and whatever, like do they act a little bit different and they have a hard time fitting in because their parents are different? I don't know. Am I looking into it too much? Like the way that Addie raised them, are they a little bit weird?
You should look into this movie too much.
That's true.
I think it's got all of the layers that you think it does.
But like, did Addie raise them a little bit different and keep them away from the other? Because she obviously doesn't want them to run off and just go play.
She's very protective of them.
And the family seems very much like a unit. Like they are like together.
Yeah.
Which, coming from like poor, not poor, but like not well off,
lower middle class.
Heavily religious family, like you end up having a weird childhood and it's hard to relate to other kids. I don't know.
I mean, I get where you're coming from because I grew up, it was just me and my mom, and my mom didn't have money and I was an only child. So like I had that aspect of like I don't know how to act with siblings. That's why I played video games all the time. That's why I watched movies all the time. I just kind of like did things to keep me like zone me in. Like I mean, I had friends and stuff, but like it's because I picked it up by watching movies. Like a lot of my like things was like watching movies and like knowing how to like read people and stuff. So like I could see that.
Yeah, so I wonder if that's why Zora and Jason are just like a little bit like oddballs. They don't really like fit in with the other kids.
I mean, it's almost like are those homeschool things? Like
please, I was homeschooled. I was homeschooled.
That is no hate to anyone who's homeschooled. I'm sure you got a perfect education.
I'm sure you're lovely. Obviously, we got a homeschooler right here.
Right here.
Yeah, and look we're dealing with it.
Yeah. Okay, so I thought I could read what Jordan Peele said about this movie.
Yeah.
And
do it.
So he said, this movie is about this country. We're in a time where we fear the other, whether it's the mysterious invader that we think is going to come and kill us and take our jobs, or the faction we don't live near who voted a different way than us. We're all about pointing the finger, and I wanted to suggest that maybe the monster we really need to look at has our face. Maybe the evil is us. And then another note, it's also a message about wealth inequity and how easy it is to be unaware of privilege and comfort while other people are suffering and hungry.
Okay, so I was on track with the levels of like wealth and stuff. Okay.
Yeah, I definitely got that vibe. But it does, I guess it kind of it feels like, yeah, if you don't take care of each other and just recognize that we all have individual responsibility to try to make this place better, eventually the bad guys are gonna cooperate together.
Yeah. But also like it's also about like almost I feel like looking at the bad guy within you.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
all have the
almost
capacity
crushing
for,
it a little bit. Like
we all have like this capacity for like this baseline of like we'll do whatever we need to do to like take care of our baseline
for survival too.
Yeah, like, and we all have that within us, and it's just the disparity of like what we already have that's like, well, you're not going to see that from me because, you know, I have X, Y, and Z that, you know, is making me a functioning person, but like take those things away and, you know, with the flick of a switch, like you could be like the tethered version of yourself.
Yeah.
Well, and the tethered version of you is you, but you try to keep it pushed down
under the surface
and out of sight and hope nobody ever knows about it.
Yeah,
that's true.
Keeping that away, trying to fit in.
You guys,
this movie has layers. This movie's an onion.
Do we have to peel the layers?
Oh my god, I'm kicking you off.
Say this discussion has definitely at least raised my rating by half a point.
Come on now.
I'm putting it at 6.5, 7 now.
Okay, nice.
Because I think I mean always understanding something is gonna like make it, you know, better.
I will agree. You said earlier that the pacing is a little off. I agree. There's some scenes that like draw on a little too long. Like
and I feel like
where they're like confronting in the living room, just sitting on the couch.
It's a long time.
Scene is a little like, okay, can we
and just like in general, all of the like, you know, the tethereds chasing after the families is like almost the whole movie. And then the wrap up is like maybe 15-20 minutes, so it's just like that maybe needed to be split into like 3 or 4 chunks. I don't know. It's a little off.
That makes sense.
Well, that's us, huh?
That's us.
That's us.
That's us.
That's my life.
Cue 90s sitcom music.
We freeze frame.
Yeah. I'm using that for the thumbnail for YouTube. Oh man. Yeah. That was good.
Okay,
I feel like this was an in-depth discussion.
I know, we really
I
had so many questions. I was just like, it was like the first one that I didn't understand Mandy, but this one
okay,
I just
we're just never gonna talk about that episode ever again.
I feel like Mandy is our forever like inside joke of just we'll be able to call back to it forever.
I thought it'd be Terrifier because that was much worse.
At least the Terrifier was
Yeah, I would say Terrifier.
Terrifier was enjoyable to like
complain about. Terrifier was a little bit fun, you know.
The jazzy part.
Yeah. Should we talk about anything we've been watching first before I do my pick, or what do we think?
I haven't seen anything.
You didn't watch your homework. Siberia was to watch Nope. What happened?
I know.
Yeah,
I've been crunching for Dragon Con. Hello.
We have been crunching.
We have all been crunching.
I've been sewing.
Yeah.
You guys, I have been watching so many movies. Well, I've been like rewatching so much because I've been crafting that I've just been like put on comfort movies.
I did same. I did rewatch It Follows again because
nice. Did you just watch that like last week?
Yeah, I watched it.
Watch a movie while I'm doing something because like if I'm like sewing or gluing something or whatever and I'm like looking at the movie, I will just like be looking at the movie and like the thing will be in my lap for like an hour and I'm just staring at the movie. Like I can't do both. It's one or the other.
So I just put on old H3 podcast stuff and just let it play.
Yeah, I just listen to
sure.
podcasts. Which I listen to a horror story podcast, which is very enjoyable. I love some short horror stories. Yeah.
Oh, I can watch Dead Meats now because they did one on Nope, and I was like, I can't watch it yet. But now
I listen to the No Sleep podcast, and those ones are like it's actual actors like acting out these short stories, which is good for my attention span because when a story gets longer than like an hour, I've already forgotten like the main character's name. Yeah. I don't remember what's going on, but they're all like 30 minutes.
I listened to one called Radio Rental. Have you guys heard of that one? It's technically hosted by Rainn Wilson, but he plays a character who owns this like VHS video store, and each like episode is like 40 minutes, but they have 2 or 3 stories within them, and it's told by the person who went through it, and they're real like paranormal or like true crime stories.
What is this called?
Told by the person who went through it, so it's really good.
What's it called again?
Radio Rental.
Oh,
yeah,
I like that.
I love it. It's gotten me like in the car like, huh? A few times.
Take the backseat.
I've been meaning to listen to Loey Lane and Snitchery's podcast.
What is it called?
Yeah, me too.
Haunted Internet Urban Legends.
Yeah, Urban Legends. I need to listen to it. Yeah. It sounds so good, and I just forget every time I sit down.
Yeah, it's always in the beginning of Loey's videos. I'm like, oh, I need to watch that.
Yeah,
I have the advertisement memorized.
I did deep dive into the internet's haunts or urban legends.
Well, Lauren, it's
I
your
hear
choice.
I'm so curious.
It's your choice for psychological.
Okay, I'm very excited about my pick. It's one of those ones that's like I have always really liked, but you don't really think about it until you like see it and you're like, oh yeah, I really like that movie. Okay, so it's a psychological thriller. This is the last one in our group of 4 for everyone listening. It's from 2015 and it's inspired by the 1957 drama 12 Angry Men. So 50 people wake up in a mysterious room and find that one person is being killed every 2 minutes. The participants realize that they have the power to control who lives and who dies, and we see the horrors play out as the mob turns on itself. My pick is Circle.
Never even heard
I've never heard of that.
I'm so excited.
I didn't think you would have. Okay, because originally I know that I was saying that my pick was going to be The Perfection, which I think all of you have seen, maybe not Pumpkin. Okay, so I thought that this would be a fun opportunity to like pick a movie that I didn't think that you guys would have seen.
Yeah, I have never.
So now, and it's on. Oh, I meant to look it up, but I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix.
Okay,
it's always been on Netflix. So, okay, I don't care. I do not care.
What did it say?
I do not care.
It was bad.
Rotten
I didn't even look it up.
Rotten Tomatoes, the critics gave it a 57 and the audience gave it a 43.
You know what they can do? They can eat my whole ass. That's what they can do with
Suck
their
my
43.
Actual cock. The poster is so creepy though.
This is one that I've seen like at least 4 times, and I like Joe and I genuinely think this is such a fun, like, good movie. So I'm actually pretty shocked that that's the score on it, because I think it's really
okay.
It's like a really creative movie that I'm sad that there's never been more of them, because as you'll watch, there is very much the potential to see like other versions of it.
Okay.
And
well, me and Pumpkin are watching it together tomorrow night. So
fun. Oh,
very excited.
I didn't know that the Rotten Tomatoes was so bad. Now I'm like nervous that what if it's a bad movie and you guys are gonna hate it.
Oh my god, all 3 of us come in and you have a me moment.
Now it's your turn.
I'm surprised if all of you didn't like it. I'll be surprised.
It looks like it's on Netflix only.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a Netflix original, but it's definitely on Netflix.
Yeah, I don't see it anywhere else.
Oh no, now I feel so much stress. Whoa.
Oh,
I'm excited.
But it's like the definition of like a psychological. It's just in the minds of people, and they have to band together to make group decisions. And when the mob gets nasty, it gets nasty, and that's
watch it tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, that's some what's it called, like Lord of the Flies shit.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So listeners, also The Perfection is a really good psychological thriller. It was originally my first
please
pick.
Watch it.
It's so good. But I like know it's a good one, and I know that you guys had seen it. So I was like, this is just my chance to like sneak in one that not a lot of people have seen, and hopefully
Yeah, I did that and everybody hated it. So
shit,
we'll see.
I felt bad about I'm so nervous. I really tried to like it. I promise.
And I don't want to gas this up like it's the best movie ever or anything, but I just think it's like a cool like idea. Oh my gosh, I'm so nervous now. I really didn't even like consider that everyone might hate it.
I'm gonna watch it and I'm gonna text those two and be like,
That's also how I felt about Drag Me to Hell. I was like, surely they won't hate it. It's camp. And then I came in here and got spit roasted.
I don't even remember. I think you texted me. You were like, what'd you think of it? And I was like, I'll tell you during the podcast.
I will let you know when you have to know.
Yeah, you'll find out. Yay.
I just think it's like a fun, different one.
But
sounds also watch
different.
The Perfection.
I like how like an arena of killing people is like a fun one. It's like a fun one.
For some reason, when you were saying it, I was like, what's that movie where they like go to, because I almost picked this one too, and I was like, it's not that great of a movie. And they go to a house and Brittany Snow's in it, and
Would You Rather?
Would You Rather? That's what it's
yes.
That's a good one.
That is.
I like that movie.
Okay. No,
I was hoping someone would pick Midsummer because I have a frock I've been meaning to
see,
wear.
I Midsummer was so close to my list. And I was like, no, I know we all have seen it. Like,
well,
I know it's hard
because I have a frock.
It's fun to like suggest ones that people haven't seen, but it's like also fun to be like, oh, this is a really good one, and I just like want everyone to watch it. But
it's about towing that line between will people listen to it because they haven't seen it, or will they listen to it because they're like, ooh, I've seen this one.
I know this one.
Yeah.
Okay, when do we start dressing according to the movie theme? When do we start?
Starting now.
I was thinking about that actually because we're all like little cosplaying
gays. Button up your shirt, you slut.
I will unbutton every time you tell me to.
So Vera just keeps like,
ew.
Look at that Steve
showing off her
chest
titties. This is PG-13. What are you doing?
You just gotta watch the YouTube version.
You gotta see it. Oh, get that uncensored content.
Yeah. No, I'm putting a censor bar right there.
Oh no.
Over her
just
titties.
Put us like just right here.
Yeah, NSFW.
I'm gonna just censor your face the whole episode.
I gotta say, I love your editing so much. The Mandy
so
episode
funny.
when you just put hearts around my
I love this movie.
I was crying.
I'm doing my best.
Yeah.
Well, hell.
All right.
Another app, huh?
I love that we're finishing up our first like our themed.
Or that was our
We're
first.
about to round it out.
I have an idea.
Okay.
I have an idea. We do verses. We do rock, paper, scissors. So we do you, and then the two winners, they pick.
Are we the same?
Are we doing it right now?
Lauren's underneath me. Is that what you see?
You're below me.
Oh.
Okay, we're not
then
seeing
me
each
and
other
Lauren.
the same way. Okay. You and Lauren, and then me and Siberia. Okay, ready?
Okay, wait. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Yes.
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh,
yes!
Okay, who won of yours?
I win.
Siberia.
Okay, give us another one.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Lauren got
it.
Okay, Lauren versus Siberia.
Okay. Creature feature versus zombie, which is like same realm. So
yeah, exactly.
I'm excited. Okay.
This is exciting. Okay, ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, do it again. Do it again.
One.
Okay.
Okay, ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Damn.
We did
Lauren wins.
Creature
feature. Woohoo! Oh my god.
I have a good pick for either, so
I have one that's iconic, but I'm hoping nobody picks it. I'm last this time. I get the Lauren.
So who goes first this time?
Okay. we have to. I go first this time.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So, but we have to establish like creature. Is it like real animal in real life, monster, alien, or all?
All.
Yeah, I think that all counts. Yeah.
Aliens count?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that counts as a creature feature.
So alien counts. Aliens count.
I
Wait.
think so.
Wait, maybe that's a. Well, it could go for sci-fi or creature feature, right?
I guess
Yeah.
so. I would consider it more sci-fi because usually aliens are more intelligent than humans. So
Let's just for the sake of clarity, let's strike out like aliens from space.
Okay.
Okay.
So
That
anything
would be
that's
all
not like
aliens then.
only aliens
you
from
know. I feel like there can be some funky. Like, have any of you seen what's that one with Kristen Stewart, Underwater?
Yes,
Underwater.
that's
Yeah.
Like,
so good. They're not
That
aliens,
one feels
though.
like. Well, I think it. See, that's what I mean. That's what I'm just saying. Like aliens from space.
I'm
So
about
that's
to
like
choose
an
Pacific
alien.
Rim.
That is not a horror movie, but I love Pacific Rim.
Okay, but do you see why I made that distinction? Because like sometimes I feel like it can get a little bit fuzzy. So if it's like distinctly an alien from space.
So yeah, let's just say animals and monsters.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
So just fuck my drag then. Awesome.
Yeah.
You should have picked sci-fi then.
Yeah.
Well,
But I wouldn't have mattered
Yeah,
because I
it
didn't
wouldn't
win.
matter. She's
Oh yeah,
still
Lauren
won.
should have picked sci-fi then.
No,
So
no,
I
okay.
guess we'll see y'all next week for my pick for creature feature. I'll have to watch some creature features before next week.
Yeah.
But you'll have to watch Circle first.
Yeah.
That is true with you. Ugh.
Ew.
Fun.
Ugh.
Yeah, must be nice. Y'all can just watch things together.
Yeah, no.
Well,
I'll
yeah,
just
maybe
watch
you
them.
live closer.
Move to Georgia.
Maybe I will.
Okay.
Okay.
Good, bitch.
How about all of you move to Colorado? I don't know.
That sounds fun.
That's a good option
That
too,
does sound
actually.
better.
All right. Well, thank you so much
Yeah.
Yeah.
for
Yes, thank you.
No, thank you.
Well, thank
Thank
you.
you
No.
so much.
No, thank you.
We are the
Okay.
geeks,
I know.
and we have given the eeks.
Mostly your face.
So
but-
you were about to open up that chest again.
Just trying to get any last-minute viewers
I have
onto
some-
the stream.
I have some eeks for you.
Okay, bye, everybody.
Oh, goodbye. Goodbye.
They already left. They didn't stay till this point.
They're like, all right,
I'm
we're
done. I'm
Okay.
done.
We gotta
Bye.
go. Okay, bye.
Bye.
All right, bye. See you next
Bye.
week.